Hey guys, so in today's video we're going to be giving you our top 5 favorite fusion monsters, and instead of alternating we're just gonna sit here and talk about them. We each have 5, so you can have the honors and start.
Oh, hi. Yes. Haha, slaps knee.
Okay. Knee slapper.
Yeah, knee slapper. I like it. Anyway, yes, our top 5 fusion monsters. I think we did top 5.
We did Xyz, yeah.
You and the twins did synchros?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
No, just the twins.
Okay, just the twins. Well, I guess yeah. There's 2 of them. What do you know? Twins. Never would have guessed. All right, but anyway, for my first on the my top 5 fusion. I do want to say synchro. The top 5 fusion list. My first one is Destiny and Dragoon. A lot of you guys may remember this card. It's a very old card. 3,000 attack, 3,000 ass. Pretty much you got to make it by using Destiny Hero Dogma and Destiny Hero Plasma. Once per turn, you can use him to blow up a monster on your opponent's side of the field, and they lose damage equal to the attack of the monster on the field. Also, during your standby phase, if this card is in your graveyard, you can banish a Destiny Hero card from your graveyard and special summon this card to the field. That makes that card really good because it doesn't matter if it's destroyed, if you tribute it. If that card exists and was summoned successfully to your side of the field, if it exists in your graveyard,
you can always bring it back.
You can always bring it back. And let's be honest, everybody in Yu-Gi-Oh! Hates recurring monsters. I mean, remember the problem we had with Light Pulsar when he first came out. You couldn't kill the motherfucker.
Isn't he part of an OTK? Isn't there a thing?
Yeah, there's you go Destiny Hero, Dragoons. You can actually, and if you actually get it off, you can go double Dragoons and you can attack for 6k, overlay into Gustav Max with the last 2k.
Yeah, that's what I've seen people play that.
And it's really good because, of course, you can. I made the Destiny Hero, the Dragoon Turbo deck where you pretty much abuse Plasma, dump all your material in the graveyard, make him, and so even if he does die, as long as he's brought out successfully, you're gonna have plenty of material to bring him back every turn. And he's 3k in the ass, so you can sit up on him on defense. So they have to Castell it or something like that, but they can't one-on-one because you're not gonna leave it in attack unless you actually are attacking. And 3k is a lot to lose. So even if they skill drain you, you still pretty much see pretty good as far as offense and or defense is concerned.
My number 5 is Ultimate Axon Kicker. This is that big psychic fusion monster. It takes, I think, it's a psychic synchro and then some regular psychic monster. You summon it with Miracle's synchro fusion and all that. It's actually really good. Most people don't get it out, so most people don't know, but it actually can't be destroyed.
Right.
And when it attacks, it does the whole hyper psychic blaster thing where you gain the life and they take it, but it's also a piercer. So it's really pretty good. The thing about it is that it doesn't come out often enough to be a threat, but if you're running Miracle Synchro Fusion in your Psychic deck, which I guess I wouldn't recommend these days, but back when it sort of debuted, I think that was a cool thing to do, because you could set it, get MST, you get a plus, all the fun stuff. But when you actually bring it out, because Miracle Synchro Fusion can banish from grave, so when you actually bring it out and they've killed your Thought Ruler and they've killed your other Psychic monsters, you can just use this and summon him 2,900, he's 2,900, right?
Yeah, he's 2,900.
Yeah, you summon him and it's just boom, he can't die. He pierces, he's strong. You regain life. It's actually a pretty good monster.
Yeah, works on many facets. And actually, I have to disagree with you on that. I would run that with the Miracle Synchro Fusion these days just because of the fact that, first off, nobody likes to blind MST. So if they do blind MST, you get the plus. And if they don't blind MST, at some point, you're going to have that Synchro monster and that regular Psychic monster as your material. So you're going to get him out. And like I said, he cannot be destroyed. So once he's out there, he's a lot to deal with. Anything that gives you life, does piercing damage to anybody that tries to defend, and cannot be destroyed is a huge threat in this format. And actually in the last few formats, especially since we do a lot of spot removal. He just pretty much says, I'm here, you gotta deal with me. You gotta either remove me, take me, or die.
Yeah, good card.
Alright, my number 4 on the top of my fusion list is gonna be, and I hate saying this name, oh my god, you gotta say it 5 times fast. Drago Necro Nether Soul Dragon. He's actually the guy that came out to give a push to zombies, like they needed another push, of course. But he's 3,000 attack, 0 defense. He's a fusion that takes 2 zombies. He's also a dragon. Go figure that. So a lot of people were using Dragon's Mirror to bring it out, which of course, why wouldn't you? I mean,
just try to say it 5 times fast. It's really hard.
You just
I'm trying to say it under my breath, Drago Necro Nether Soul Dragon. Drago Necro Necro.
Nigga.
That's
Trinidad James. But the reason why I think this card is so good is because it specifically says this monster cannot kill another monster by battle. But that is fine because pretty much whatever monster he attacks, that monster's attack becomes 0 immediately after the damage step, and you get a token equal to that monster's original attack on your side of the field. So even if Drago Necro, all of that, died by battle, You're still gonna get that token. You're still in battle phase, and you can still run into your opponent with this new monster that kills their monster that was already on the field and now has 0 attack. So you are still doing damage. Now, if your monster, if Drago Necro just happens to be bigger, you're already doing damage because you're stronger, but you're also still gonna do the damage from this new token that's coming out because that monster's now 0. So it's still gonna take the full damage. So he's really, really good, and he's very easy to summon because once again, he takes 2 zombies as his materials.
Yeah, that's
Who can't
free.
get 2 zombies out? Right, that's literally free first turn if you want to. And he's also really good as a game finisher. Usually, if I bring him out, I'm going for game because he's about to finish out whatever's left out there for me. So that's my number 4.
My number 4 is Chimera Tech Fortress Dragon. Unfortunately, in most cyber decks, you're probably never going to summon this thing yourself, but it's useful against machine decks. There was a time, believe it or not, when machine decks were good and Cyber Dragon was actually useful against them because you could side in Cyber Dragon, and if they had machines in the field, you can use Cyber Dragon, take their machines, your Cyber Dragon, make Chimera Tech Fortress Dragon. It had attack equal to the amount of machines that you use. So if you have Machina Fortress and 2 gadgets sitting on your field, and I special Cyber Dragon and scoop them all up, my monster has 4k attack. Right. And sending it to the grave and all was it wasn't destroying or anything. So there really were very few ways to actually deal with the problem if you didn't bottomless the Cyber Dragon. And so when you bring out Chimera Tech Fortress, he's just really, really big. And he doesn't really have any effects past that, but the fact of the matter is, he's big and your opponent just lost a field.
Right, he's devastating to come out if you're not prepared.
Yeah, it's good. I actually really liked him, and he was one of those cards that I would side 2 copies of and 3 Cyber Dragons, back when Machina and the gadget thing was a trend. I think it was right after that deck came out. 2010,
yeah, and then when Gigia took off as well, because Gigia
that was a thing too.
Yeah.
Apparently it doesn't work against Klee now.
No, it doesn't work against Klee because they don't go to the grave.
They
don't go. It works against Killer because it doesn't target him or really affect him. It's just condition, but it doesn't work against Klee monsters, the smaller ones, because they don't hit the grave, so you can't contact you.
So awful, Konami.
Right, so they're you almost had an out, but not really.
Yeah, they had to make sure.
Konami just gotta make it. Just fuck Konami.
Come money. Anyway.
Come money, right. Anyway, my number 3 on my top 5 fusion list is gonna be First of the Dragons. This card came out, I think it was in New Challengers. It's a little super rare. I love this card to death because pretty much it's 2700 attack. It cannot be destroyed by battle except with normal monsters, and it is unaffected by any other effect monster's effects, which means he is virtually indestructible when it comes to monsters, because in this format,
there are normal monsters.
There are no normal monsters, and if there are no big enough normal monsters to get over him. Mm-hmm. I mean, actually there aren't any that we play.
Aren't.
And everything else in this format is an effect monster. That means pretty much how you win most of your games. At least 97% of the games are won by effect monsters. He says you can have effect monsters. I'm unaffected. What's that? Black Rose. Oh my God. There's been so many times I played with this guy on Dev Pro, and I'd summon him against Shadalls, and they would have Construct. And Construct would just be sitting there. I couldn't die by it. And he's just a pain to deal with, because now you have to use another out. You have to snatch steal him. You got to Regeki him. You got to compose him. You got to do something. You got to use another one of your power cards to get rid of him. And he's 27, which technically isn't that big for some decks, but he's just a mainstay. Yeah. He's like Spirit Reaper. When he can't die, he's just a freaking nag in your side. And I love him to death. I like nags in the side. So it's my number 3.
My number 3 is Elemental Hero Absolute Zero. I remember when this card was first released. Nowadays it's just sort of seen as, I guess, just one of those, just another Elemental Hero fusion.
Monsters, yeah.
But when it first popped up, this thing was a huge deal. It came out in a manga, so you didn't just find it in a pack.
It's $25.
Yeah, it was hard to find. It was $25, and people just didn't even have it.
Yeah.
In general, and at the time of its release, it had a crazy effect. When it left the field in any way, you got to blow up all your opponent's monsters. That was huge, and you can run into things like Stardust, which was a big deal back then.
Yeah.
And something like Machina Fortress, and it didn't matter if Ab-Zero died. It was great. And not to mention, it used water monsters, and so if you were running things like Elemental Hero Ocean or Elemental Hero Bubble Man, it was really fun. And the thing is, nowadays the Elemental Hero fusions sort of feel a bit not really Elemental Hero-ish to me. Darklaw just feels like he's just walking macrocosmos. He's not even a hero. But the cool part about Absolute Zero is that he actually has a second effect that most people forget about. He actually gains attack for all the other water monsters that you have, and most people forget. So he can become 3,000 or 35 if you're running,
Necros or anything like that.
Anything, yeah. There were decks there was a hero hybrid someone made. like this was like in like 2010 or 11 or something. It was just like the divas and the Mallies and things like that. And like if you happen to have a diva or the thing that diva brought out just sitting there, your Ab-Zero would be 3K.
3K, you're right.
And it was like kind of scary. So I actually really liked the card. And yeah, just good boss monster.
And even outside of being a boss monster, you remember those days when he first came out? He was that guy. He was kind of like how Exit Night was for when Exit Night first came out. He was that guy that told your opponent if you had advantage, you're now about to lose it.
Yeah.
Because I can be losing the game, go Mirror Confusion into absolute zero, and just run
chill.
into a monster. Yeah, either chill and like enforce you to try to play around it, or just run into a monster, nuke your field, and now we're playing the top deck war. And let's be real, back in the day, a top deck war against heroes, you're probably gonna lose because Mirror Confusion was the best fucking thing ever. So. Yeah, Absolute Zero was a boss. He still is a boss nowadays. It's just that everybody just has ways to recover a little bit better than we did back in the day. But I still like his effect.
He was a good.
Definitely. Shout outs to Ab-Zero.
That was my number 3.
All right. So my number 2 for my top 5 fusions is actually the last warrior from another planet. And for those who don't know what this card is, you got to look it up. This should have been my number 1, but it was a hard battle. But Last Warrior from Another Planet pretty much says that while this card is face up on the field, neither player can normal summon, flip summon, or special summon any other monster. Now you can still set, but let's be real, there's not many monsters in this format that you can set that can deal with his type of effect. He says that you cannot put another monster face up. So if you get him out first turn, that means that once again, your opponent has to have an out to him, a Dark Hole, a Regeki, a Snatch Steel, anything, because he's 2,500. And he's just gonna sit there. I mean, because you can't summon another monster to get over him. There's no other way around it. So, and the way it was played back in the day, you use things like Safe Zone and Lances and stuff like that to make sure they didn't Dark Hold it, they didn't kill it some kind of way. But even nowadays, if you go first turn him, there's not many outs in the deck besides people now trying to main Mirror Force. There's not many outs in the deck that can actually get around him. He's just gonna sit there and pretty much make you never summon again.
Yeah, they're like turbo decks that can pretty much just summon him like turn 1,
turn
2,
2,
stuff like that. It's really scary. I've actually on Dueling Network had that summoning issue more than once, and it like never turned out well for me.
He's so good. Like if I could find a way to put him in any one of the top meta decks, I would. But
there probably is now that I think about it. Like some crazy little tech you can throw into. You know what I mean? Like it's like back when Tudors used like polymerization, and you could actually find some weird way to like. It probably wouldn't work out well, but I mean who knows?
You'll find out.
My number 2 is Super Alloy Beast Raptinus. This, for those of you who don't know, because it's kind of a more obscure one, is the basically Gemini fusion. It takes just any 2 Gemini monsters to make it. And I played it back when Future Fusion was legal and Gigabyte was a popular deck. I could use Future Fusion, reveal him, send Gigaplant, like 2 Gigaplants, or like Gigaplant and Blazing Butterfly, or any, those are the main 2, and send them to the grave, and things just went nuts from there. It was really bad. And when he actually hits the field, because oftentimes he will if they don't have MST like immediately, when he hits the field, all your Gemini monsters immediately get their effects. And as we know, Geminis suck because they're slow. But when you actually have a monster on the field that's immediately giving them their effects, it gets a lot scarier. When Gigaplant can just summon Gigaplant, can just summon Gigaplant, can just summon Titanial, and it's just sort of like, oh, well, that happened. And the card was great. Like, I liked it. I like Gigabyte's days, and it's kind of sad because it's one of those things where like Future Fusion got banned and it hurt decks other than just dragons. Yeah, it's really sad. Like, it's one of those things that otherwise he's just not really practical to summon. But if you do get him out, he's fun.
He's actually easy to get out, to be honest with you.
And I'm gonna skip my number 1 because I want his number 1 to be the last card. He has a better number 1 than I have, so he gets the last number 1. My number 1 it's better than mine, you know it is. My number 1 is Gladiator Beast Gazaris, because for those who like watch streams or chat around on Facebook, no, I love Gladiator Beasts, and Gazaris is the Gladiator Beast. He's just the guy. Like, Herc is cute and all, but you barely get him out. And like, Nerokius, isn't it Nerokius, the new one? He sucks. I don't know. Esadari sucks. They all suck except Gazaris.
Esadari does not suck.
It's
like Planet Apes in that bitch.
I wish that Bestie would go to 3 so we could just summon Gazaris all day long. It wouldn't even do anything today, let's face it. But at least we could summon the thing. I love playing like Gazaris Turbo with like Prisma, Test Tiger, all that stuff. It was great. Prisma Glads were fun, popping things were fun, popping things and swapping out and like using like what was it? God, I've forgotten their names now.
It was a quest to bring back
a quest to grab back your chariot.
Bring back another monster.
And just oh my god, it was great.
And with a 2400 defense, hop on us just because you know your opponent doesn't have anything bigger to get over there. Like
and just have your stuff set, and the next turn just pop everything again. It was a great time.
It was the epitome of a stun deck, pretty much. Like
a really aggressive stun deck.
Yeah, pretty much.
So that's my number one, and you get the honors of finishing it out.
You're so kind.
You're so much better.
All right, everybody. My number one top fusion. It's fusion, right? The fusion on my list is the badass of all badasses. My number one fusion is Sandwich. And for those of you who don't know what Sandwich is just a 2100 attack, 1800 defense, level 6 monster whose material is Sanguine and Witch of the Black Forest. It has no effect. There's nothing special about this card. So why is this my number one? Because Sandwich is the epitome of everything that Konami said they don't want us to have, but they gave us in every other deck. They don't want us to have Sanguine because it searches out everything. We can't have Witch of the Black Forest because it searches out everything. Then they give us Madoche Magdalene, they give us Necros or Brionic, they give us Skarm, they give us Triple Rhoda.
They give us Deneb,
they give us Deneb, Dark Mist. But they don't want us to search. But they're going to give us every other thing and that's specifically for the archetype that we're using it to search. And I mean, just think about it. They put Sanguine with Tour Guide and made that shit crazy. But now you put Skarm with Tour Guide to be just as crazy because you can detach Skarm from the Exceed material and actually get the effect. You can't do that with Sanguine.
Yeah, I'm just gonna go out there and make a statement. Both of these cards, I hate when people are like, you can't unban Sandwich. It's so good against this Dark Iron Dragon. Who cares?
Right.
Who cares?
We can use this.
I'm sorry, but Sanguine and like Witch, they can't. Magician of Faith did nothing.
And she used to be great back in the day.
She used to be really good.
She was the bitch. She was Tour Guide before Tour Guide was Tour Guide.
But like Witch of Black Forest, she does nothing. These cards, they're too slow to like do anything crazy.
Nowadays.
Why not bring them back so that at least lower tier decks can have access to them? And we can thin this ban list out that's got like 50 million cards on it now.
That we're never going to see again.
Would you rather set Witch of the Black Forest and just lose your normal summon and just have to set it and kind of end your turn? Or would you summon a Mathematician and pitch a shit all this and pitch a shit all that and get your pluses? Or summon a Neb and search an Altair? Or summon a Tour Guide, Specialist Skarm, go into Dante, mill and detach and get 3 different effects and then search the end phase? Like, or you know, Necroz, pitch a Brionic and do all this stuff and like, there's no reason why these cards would do anything. Unban them. It'll be okay. I'm sorry. That's like, it's just, I hate when people just say things like, oh, Sanguine and stuff can't come back, it's too good.
And what?
And yeah, please. If you can find some nasty, crazy OTK that uses these things and makes them broken.
Back in the day, you can go Tour Guide Sanguine and end your turn, and that was a threatening play.
Yeah,
now it's like Tour Guide Sanguine. Is that it?
Yeah.
Spam, 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 spam.
Tour Guide Sanguine can't overlay to Dante and Plus, so.
Right.
Tour Guide Skarm can. So.
Shout out to Sandwich. You the realest nigga.
Best fusion ever. Hashtag free sandwich 2015. But that's our top 5 each favorite fusion monsters. We'd like to hear from you guys. This video went on kind of long. That's good though. That's like, you got to hear like 10 different fusion monsters.
Right. I saw the regulars. I mean, we could have put Window and Construct on there, but...
Yeah, those are Buster cards.
Yeah, we know how y'all feel about those.
Yeah, hope you guys enjoyed. What are your favorite fusion monsters? Because I think this is one of those things where it's a little bit of like, there are ones that everybody likes, then everybody's kind of got that one fusion that only worked in that deck that they remember.
Yeah.
And those are the fun ones to think
That's what Dark Warrior from Another Planet was for me though. It's like, I was the only person who used that card, but it worked. That's
kind of like, which one was it for me? That's kind of like stuff like Ultimate Axon Kicker, because not everybody even knows what that does. So. Right. But anyway, that is the video.
Yes.
We hope you liked it. I guess, what do we have left to do? Rituals?
Oh god, yes, we do have to do
rituals. My top 5 rituals are the Brio, Trish, Clausalis, and Unicorn. I don't know.
So fired.
But thumbs up if you liked it, and we will catch you guys later.